Start recording. No risks, no Rari. That's actually really cool. Yeah, I want to do more merch, but it's hard to. I wouldn't want to do a flask. I want something that's like actually professional. You know what I mean? Like a journal, a custom lab journal with like the trader's name on it. I think that would make sense. Okay. We're going to be doing 4-hour PO3, 15-minute OB. So we'll keep it really, really, really simple. Get rid of this real quick. I'm going to do mark. Oh, they changed it. They updated this. That's good, I guess. All right. I'm not even going to read that comment. Okay, if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me. I'm just going to kind of go through this really quickly. Some of you guys know it, some of you might not. This is the model that I use day in and day out. Sometimes I do the hourly and the 5-minute, but for the most part, this 4-hour and the 15-minute kind of sets up the structure for me on a daily basis. So we'll kind of go from there. Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to just go ahead and write down the checklist. Internal, external, 4-hour swing in direction of draw, and then 15-minute OB confirmation. That's kind of what we'll just be doing today. So I'll have the checklist up here so you guys know. What type of strat would you implement in the Asian session? I don't really know. I think it depends on the asset, right? Are we talking about NQ or are we talking about GC? NQ? Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know, brother. Ice has been killing it. I don't even know what he's trading, to be honest. I think it depends, right? Sometimes Asia session does kind of provide a big move, but it's very, very completely dependent on what the previous sessions have done. So I would say if you want to set up a model, you would have to set it up conditionally to where if that's even a word, but the condition has to be if the previous two sessions, so PM and AM, if PM and AM don't provide any sort of move, then you could potentially look for a move during Asia session, right? Because the logic in the back of our heads, and this is kind of something that we subconsciously acknowledge, is if the previous two sessions have done nothing, then the next one is likely to do something, right? Because we go from small ranges to big ranges. So yeah, the idea is he said gold for Asia. Yeah, I'm assuming he's trading gold. I'm assuming because there's not a lot going on, except for the rare cases again where you have PM and AM session for NASDAQ that's not doing anything. But yeah, if you're getting pegged in the AM, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I personally think that the best model and not the best model, but the easiest model to learn and to implement, yo, what's up, Rob? And to implement, is the unicorn, actually. Like if you had to plot a graph of a learning curve between all the models, I would say the unicorn is the easiest. I joined at an awkward time. What's up? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Vest gets it. So, yeah. I think what we're going to end up doing, and there's not a lot of us in here, but I think what we're going to end up doing is I might just show you guys, to be honest. I don't want to say it because I feel like somebody would steal this idea. All right, let's get into this. Enough of this chit chat. Okay, so right here we have a sweep of the previous 4-hour high, but there is no like major external at the moment. That's obvious to me. We're still kind of in this uptrend. So, man, this is crazy. Generally not something I really want to participate in. Not something I want to put risk on. Could this obviously see some downside? Of course, right? It's prone to it. The thing is, I'm not a huge fan of immediately shorting the top or trying to catch tops with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and let the session play out. I'm going to let the tape roll. And we're kind of go from there. We'll see what 930 does. I'm moving at a 2-minute pace here, times 2. So as opposed to catching tops, I'd rather just wait for some sort of discounted price point and an internal level with a 4-hour low. So in this particular case, I think I would wait for a retrace into here, potentially a 4-hour swing. So at this point, I think I would have to wait for a 10-2 swing. Funded, what's up, brother? I've gotten TLM down quite nicely. I fully understand TLM. It's just that it has a low win rate and the chances of consecutive losses are very high. So I would want to have a bit of variation / diversification. So when TLM doesn't perform well, the other one, or vice versa, both together. Yeah, no, that makes sense for sure, 100%. So, yeah. Before I get into that, let's let today play out, and then I'll expand a little bit more on that idea. So here we have no internal yet on the 4-hour chart. We do have this sweep of this low. The low that created the high, which I'm a huge fan of using. The low that created the high. Candle that kind of pierced into this here. You got a closure above the candle that pierced into that liquidity point. So you have a confirmation here at 3872.25. And now it's just going to continue to seek the highs, I think. We'll see if it wants to reject off that 930 opening price, but for the most part, I think it's just going to continue the trend, and the model didn't really present itself, so that's okay. We'll just move on to the next day. I think one of the realities that people don't really understand in trading is that sometimes your model can go weeks without performing. And that's a harsh truth, right? It's a harsh truth because we're constantly exposed to people like, oh, fucking 70 green consecutive days, right? Like, that's all fine and dandy, but the reality of it is there could potentially be weeks where your model just doesn't perform well in that kind of environment. And that's okay because, I mean, statistically over the course of X, Y, Z, whatever, over the course of time, statistically your model is supposed to play out, right? If you've backtested it enough and you understand it enough, you also understand that there's a limit to how many consecutive losses or consecutive days you can go on. And then there's also a limit as to how many consecutive winning days you could go on. But that's also dependent on you as a person, because there is that human variable. I'm thirsty today. Yeah, not a lot going on. Market's about to close here, so we do have a 4-hour swing to the downside. Not a big fan. Market's about to close. I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the next day. Start of the New York session, New York time. So interestingly enough, this chart is kind of messed up a little bit here on this 4-hour. It's plotting the data on the 15, but it's not on the 4-hour. So yeah, not entirely sure what to make of this. We do have this 4-hour internal here, so I would want to see ideally a sweep of this previous 4-hour low into this internal and then a 15-minute OB, and then we'll see if we can get anything there. For TLM, you have to keep entering with the same size, and when you get those winners, you have to hold for the entire move, otherwise you're cooked. Yeah. The good thing about TLM is that, again, like, and I'm sure you know this, but when you catch a move, you catch it. You're at the bottom. So anything beyond there, you're on the right side. If you're on the right side, you can scale in. It's fucking pouring. It's pouring out, and the sun's about to come out in like 4 hours, and it's gonna make the entire state of Florida humid. So, yeah, that's gonna be fun. Okay, so here we have kind of a half-assed external, a sweep of the previous 4-hour high. So now I kind of want to see a closure above, or sorry, below. I don't really have a good view here. We did get a closure below, so I would want to see a closure below that opening price. Okay. Again, I'm gonna do half the original risk here because I'm not a big fan of fighting these trends. Limit. I'm just gonna do 2 contracts. I'm not a big fan of fighting the trend here, but we do have this external, so previous daily high. We have a previous 4-hour high sweep and a closure below the candle that pierced that specific price point. So I want to see if I can get tagged in on this. And it's okay, I'll just cry myself to sleep. That's unfortunate. That would have been so nice. Anyways, I am gonna screenshot this. Oh, actually, let me make the notes first. So in this particular case, we had external, we had previous 4-hour sweep of high, and then closure below candles that pierced. So kind of the model there to the T. I'm gonna go ahead and download that. Am I still cutting out, or am I good? Didn't get tagged in, unfortunately. I put in a limit order. I thought we were gonna get that retrace into the OB, but no retrace there. It was a beautiful, 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 beautiful trade. You do have a sweep of the previous 4-hour low here as well. So I'm gonna do the opposite, actually. I am gonna do the opposite. Just to confirm, is the OB model trading the 4-hour C2 or C3? So I have both. I typically keep track of which one. And I will tell you this right now. Obviously, C3 has a better win rate. C2 has a better R to R. But I keep track of both. I really do. I like C2 personally. I do like C2. Just because I get that early entry. But I don't mind the C3. So like, for example, in this particular case, you have both ideas that are kind of colliding here. You have a sweep of the high and a sweep of the low. But if we manage to get a closure above this candle's high, then I might look to completely oppose this and go for the high now. So I want to see if I can get a limit order in here. Can I get a limit order in here? Guys, if I don't get tagged in on this, okay. Nice little tag on this 5-minute OB. See if we can get a continuation higher. If we get above this 3896.5. Come on. Fight it. What time is it? 2:22. Oh shit, let me get rid of my old limit. Oh my god. I was like, what am I looking at? Alright, I'll go break even there. She's a beaut! She's a beaut. She is a beaut. The RR. Higher risk to reward, yeah. Or, yeah. I'm just trying to make sure I word that correctly. What a beautiful read, to be honest. So, here we had this 4-hour internal, right? Obviously, it looks a little funny because of the way the chart's displaying it. But I'm assuming that's a 4-hour internal, right? A volume imbalance, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You have a sweep of the previous 4-hour low. I got a bit of a premature entry on this one, which was the 5-minute candle, right? I'm considering, right? So if I'm on a 5-minute chart, I obviously know where my 15-minute open is, and I acknowledge the fact that it was here, right? So on a 5-minute scale, technically this is the candle that pierced this specific point. If I were to ask you, okay, if we take a look at this blue line, which is the area that I'm interested in to seeing a sweep of, and I ask you what particular candle pierced that specific price point, you would tell me that it's this 5-minute candle. This 5-minute candle, obviously, in a 15-minute, from a 15-minute scale, there are 3 5-minute candles and a 15-minute candle, right? This is my opening price, so we got a closure above the 15-minute candle's opening price. So I just got a little bit of more of a discount here. So that is something that I do. I sometimes often kind of zoom in. If we close above the higher time frame candle, which is the 15-minute here, which we did get that closure, and you want to particularly use the specific candle on a lower time frame chart that pierced the liquidity point, that's completely fine. But yeah, this was an overall really clean move here. We got what we wanted. Same thing, kind of outline this internal low, closure above, candles that pierced. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and download this image. That low of it held because it was protected low. Yeah. I'm going to go to the journal real quick. Go to trade notes 310, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and take a screenshot there. Add a playbook, and then internal that was there, 4-hour swing, and then 15-minute OB confirmation. There we go. Cool. Okay, so just making sure I kind of follow the process that I do every day, so I don't end up speeding myself or trying to kind of get ahead, or trying to speed myself. Wait, I'm trying to find the words. Jesus, speed. Darian, can you help me out? Can you help me find the words? Speed run through this. Sorry. Jesus. Okay, let's move on to the next day. So far, no entry on the first trade here to the downside, but we did get a nice little catch to the upside here. Yeah, thank you. Slow down. That's funny. Okay, moving on. Let's go. Started the New York session. New York time. By the way, if you guys are backtesting on TradeZella and you go here to go to specific day and you customize your settings, you can switch the times as to where you would want to zoom, kind of go to. So the original setting for the New York time is 8 a.m. Eastern, but I switched it over to 9 a.m. because I'm typically not taking any trades before 9 a.m. Okay. So here, a bit of an ugly one. We do have an internal level. It's super small. We did get a closure below it, which I'm not a big fan of. We do have a sweep of the previous 4-hour low as well. we do have a sweep of the previous 4-hour low. Sorry if you guys hear some background noise. Sweep of the previous 4-hour low. You have the closure above the candle that pierced on a 5-minute scale. On a 15-minute one as well. And you are respecting this midpoint here. So I think it would be kind of rude if I didn't take this. I'm going to go ahead and throw on a long position. I'm not a huge fan of the internal here, but for the sake of... I'm going to do one contract. I'm going to decrease my size here just because I'm not a big fan. And we'll see what this does. Yeah, I'm a little iffy about this one. I'm not going to lie to you guys. We did get the closure, though. We'll see. I'm a little iffy about this one. Yeah, figures. Instant stop out on that one. My gut feeling. Instant stop out on that one. But the good thing is that we did decrease our size. So it was a really small loss compared to the previous ones. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to wait for maybe potentially a bit lower prices here. 3890.75 on... is that 930? All right, so let me move my OB. This is going to be the one that we're paying attention to. Get a closure above that, and we will re-long. 10 minutes from... Okay, should we give this another go, or what's up? Yes. How did I get tagged in on this? Okay, whatever. Okay, beautiful move here. I want to see a continuation at 10. Don't really want to see us spend too much time here. I'm going to remove this. I'm just going to bring my stop to that high if we get to that high. I don't really like how much time we're spending here. Not a huge fan. We swept the previous 4-hour low as well. And we might get... I want to see a move higher here after taking that low. Kind of accumulate within the OB. Can we get a move higher? Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Nice respect to 50%. Yeah, it's a beautiful one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move my stop to break even here. I want to see if we can get beyond those highs. Kind of really struggling to get into those highs. If we take this break even here, might just skip or finalize that day. But it looks like 2 p.m. might actually give us some juice. Okay, we'll see if 2 p.m. gets us above those highs. I want to see if I can trail my stop aggressively once we get above those highs. And that's break even. Jesus. Nope. No play today. How many times would you attempt to trade the same 4HC2 swing like that? Twice. First loss, I'm in half size on the second. Twice. That's some NQ type of bullshit. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Understood. Yeah. Obviously, you can adjust your risk rules, but I typically like to do half size after, especially if I'm trading a C2, because I know my ego can get in the way and I can end up making some silly decisions. So if you're able to cut your risk or minimize your risk when you're making those silly decisions, it's a huge aid. Of course, these motherfuckers. Dude, that is actually nuts. It's so funny because obviously the market doesn't know we exist, whatever. This is a backtest session, but you just feel so targeted when things like this happen. Like, this is such a targeted fucking Okay, let's move on. I'm going to go ahead and move on towards the start of the... Whoops. I may have gotten ahead of myself. Yeah. I accidentally clicked next day open, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on towards start of the New York session. I am sorry. Okay, on a 4-hour scale, what do we have here? There's a huge move. I always feel targeted. LOL. I know. It's nothing personal too. It's never anything personal. We're trading fucking synthetic contracts. We do have an internal here. You do have a sweep of the previous 4-hour high. What's up, Juaner? How you doing, brother? Yeah. I want to see if maybe we get a closure. I mean, we did technically get a close below the candle that pierced. Why is your break even not to cover costs of fees? It won't count as break even on a back test. Yeah. So there you have your candle closure. I'm going to wait until 9:30 open to kind of give me a little bit more information. Okay, I don't actually mind this. Now that we actually have 9:30 that kind of played out. You got a closure above this candle's low. I actually don't really mind this at all. Our targets will be... Yeah, I mean, yeah, if I do one tick above, yeah, just to cover costs, yeah, for sure. But yeah, it won't count as break even if it's one tick above or below. It'll statistically count it as a loss. Okay. See if we can get a tag in here. Confident on this one. I forget that the... Can we get a closure below? Struggling. Ooh, okay, nice. Beautiful. I'm going break even here. Can we get... Oof! She's a beaut! Beautiful candle C3. Yeah. I forgot to outline that. My bad. Yeah. What's up? There's no fire alarm in here, no. Yeah, I will go over the reasoning on this one. Yeah, for sure. So internal, that's our first variable. Internal here. Beautiful. That's the first variable. Second is a sweep of the previous 4-hour high, right around here. So we had 2, 6, and 10. So again, 6 swept 2 a.m. high on the 4-hour time frame. You have a closure below the candles. You have a closure below the candle's low that swept the previous 4-hour high. The only difference is this time I kind of waited until 9:30 because I didn't want to play that gamble. 9:30 came in. It created a newer high. And then this is the candle. 9:30 candle, so you get a closure below that candle's low. That confirms your OB. Extend that out. And now, when 10 a.m. comes in, you're expecting an open to high because of the fact that you've now confirmed your second candle, right? So, as soon as 10 a.m. opens, that means your 6 a.m. closes, obviously, right? So you have your candle 1, you have your candle 2. It's already confirmed because you have that closure. So candle 3 is likely to distribute to the downside. And if you're doing internal to external, if I were to ask you guys, if we're doing internal to external, obviously we've outlined this internal level, right? If we're doing internal to external, what's the closest external level? You're going to be at 3895, and then you're going to be at 3878. So I guess, hypothetically, right, we could have trailed this a bit. We could have not set a stop. We could have trailed it, but I'm curious to see if it actually gets to the external low or if it might actually create a divergence there at that low. Who knows? I don't really have NQ pulled up here, so overall, this was a beautiful trade. For your personal account, what's going on here? For your personal account, yes, but not for the backtesting results. Can you? Oh, that's sweet. Okay, that makes sense. That's sweet. I didn't know that. Yeah, I always just did it that specific way because I was like, I wanted to count statistically as a break even as opposed to it being a loss. Beautiful. No, beautiful stuff here from Yes. Okay, sweet. I'm gonna do like one more trade and then we'll call it there. It'll be kind of a short one. I got a long run today, so not really feeling it, but my knees. I feel like an old man saying that. My knees, my back, my shoulder. I'm just going through it. Okay. Next day. Beautiful win. Started the New York session here. Ooh, okay. Consolidation overnight, which likely means we're going to get a nice little expansion here coming into the AM session. No internals. You do have a sweep of the previous 4-hour high, but the model is just simply not here. So if we want to see some sort of action, I would need to see a sweep of this low and then a 4-hour swing at this low with a 15-minute OB confirmation for me to actually enter off anything. It's that simple. So I'm going to go ahead and let this play out. I'm going to let 9:30 give me a little bit more information. Okay. You have a 4-hour swing here to the upside. I could obviously make a case for a continuation, right? But it's not a part of the model. You have a wick into a wick, which I'm a huge fan of. A 4-hour wick or a 4-hour swing into a 4-hour wick is something that I'm a huge fan of. I could obviously make a serious case for this to continue higher, but unfortunately that is just not the model, so yeah, it's all a part of it. It's getting kind of hot, bros. My big ass forehead. Okay, nothing there. I'm going to go ahead and move on towards the start of the New York session. Even with the model, you got to take intuition into play when you're trading live. Yeah, 100%, yeah. Okay, so here we have a really, really nice expansion, 2 p.m., slightly overnight, nothing massive overnight, but mostly at 2 p.m. So previous PM session gave a really, really nice expansion. So I want to see if we can get it internal here, get into this, maybe make a 4-hour swing within here, and then get that 15-minute OB confirmation. And it will all be fine and dandy. No continuation whatsoever here to the downside. This AM session is looking completely dead. What's up, Viper? Looking completely dead. Good morning. I was talking to Darian about this, but I'm not sure where to mention this. Nothing majorly important, but whenever I try to enter my few payouts into the lab tracker website, it won't let me submit. It will just refresh when I enter press. Okay, no worries. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this message. I'm gonna send it over to the team. I'm gonna send it over to to the backend team, to the dev. Yeah, to the backend team. It's fucking me and you know. 1 second. Please help. Yeah. Hold on. I need to set a meeting with the backend team. Thank you for your patience. Okay. This AM session looks completely dead. Started the New York Times. Okay, here we actually have something interesting. Oh, I was having this conversation with Darian. I was giving him a little bit of the sauce. I'm sure you guys have heard this somewhere. I don't remember who I learned it from, but it was this concept, and it was just it was the concept of seeking the origin of the move. I'm lying. I learned it from Kish. Do you guys know who Kish is? This was a really, really long time ago, by the way. This is when I had first started. Whatever, Kish. It was this trader. He's really good, really consistent. I think he has a fund now. But he had this concept of engineered origin, and it was basically the start of the move. So you seek the start of the move to kind of see a continuation. And pretty much, it's like you look for the low that creates the high, right? So if I were to ask you out of this leg, and I've mentioned this before, but I don't want to get sidetracked, but I kind of want to share this. That's because shorts are trapped there. Yeah. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but if you take a look at this price, leg from here to here, this is quite obviously the low that started this move, right? So whenever you're seeking an area to reaccumulate, if we start getting below this imbalance, if you have an imbalance between the equilibrium of this high and this low, and you start closing below that, your next line of defense for longs is going to be the area that started the move towards the highs. So that's probably one of my favorite concepts. It's like if we get a sweep of this low and get a 15-minute OB, I'm in there. If we get a sweep of this low, get a 15-minute OB, I'm in there. But you'll start seeing that kind of in the charts if you spend some time there. But anyways, let's move forward. So I want to see if we can get towards this imbalance. We also do have a 4-hour imbalance here. You have a sweep of the 4-hour imbalance, and on a lower time frame, if I were to ask you, hey, what was the move that created the current high on this 15-minute chart, you would tell me it's this one. So out of this price leg, right, from here to here, what's the low that created that high? Right there. if you get a 15-minute, if you get a closure above the candle that pierced that high, or that pierced that low, you have your closure there, right? You got your closure above that high. Stop below the low. You also have your 4-hour internal. Sweep at the previous 4-hour low. I want to see if we can get a continuation here successfully. And if not, and stopped out on that one. Unfortunate. Ooh. Wait. Okay. Hold on. Let me remove this. Now you have a tag of the 4-hour internal here. Sweep at the previous 4-hour low. Same thing. Again, like the process kind of just remains the same. Closure above the candle that pierced the low. Process remains the same. Might do a little sneaky. Okay, let's see if we can win on this. I'm going to do half size after that loss. No. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. I meant to put a limit order. Yeah, actually. Let me correct myself. Jesus. Okay, there's our tag in on the OB. Again, I don't really want to see this spend too much time up here. And if we take this loss, rough way to end the stream. But that's okay. Couple wins, couple losses. Overall, pretty good session. We got some really nice wins. Let me check how many trades we're at now. We're at 263, so we're about 37 trades off from our 300 goal. But overall, really nice. So far, stats are looking amazing. Yeah. 2.02 average win to loss, which is something that I was really working hard towards increasing, because initially when we had started the backtesting session, it was pretty low. Overall, if we take a look here, 189 longs and 74 shorts. Time spent backtesting 6 hours and 58 minutes is a complete and utter fucking lie, because I know for a fact that we have done so many of these sessions, and this is definitely within like 14 to 15 hours of actually backtesting. So as you can see here, yeah, average win has just kind of slowly been increased. I've been adjusting my trades a little bit better to increase that average win to loss ratio while trying to maintain the 57.26 trade win percentage. Yeah, I'm gonna tell a trade or email somebody at TradeZella and be like, yo, can you guys fix this? Because this is actually a complete misrepresentation of what it actually is. Email the dev. Yeah, I'm gonna email the dev. Average drawdown is a little bit big. Max drawdown is a little bit big, but there's nothing we can do about it now. Profit factor is looking good. Total 263, so 37 off our 300 goal. And yeah, overall, just looking at fantastic. I'm actually kind of curious if I look at. By the way, why do you backtest ES instead of NQ? Because I've backtested NQ too much. I've backtested NQ so much that if we were to start in like 2018, I would remember what happens, and that would be kind of biased. All right, team. I'm going to hop off. This is a phenomenal session. Again, please, if you guys want a hat, leave in a testimonial. I appreciate all of you. I'm gonna get Kane for the next session so we can do a little bit of TLM, because I know some of you guys really love that TLM model. But yeah. Make sure to please leave a testimonial. It doesn't have to be too long. I will send out a hat to you. Special little hat. I don't know if we love it. Where do we leave it? I got you. Yeah, of course. Thanks, Darian. Yeah, Justin, talk to you. Yeah. I'll let you guys know how the run goes. It's gonna be a slow paced long run, so shouldn't be too crazy as long as the weather allows it. Anyways, it was good speaking to you all on this beautiful Sunday. Have a great Sunday. Pinky promise. Yeah, pinky promise. Have a great Sunday. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Feel free to tag me at any point in time. I will be here. Yeah. Talk to you all. Bye.